necessarily a Christmas song, but
Oh,
a
wait.
holiday song. I believe it was a song written by a lawyer.
All right, folks, we are here live in Dubois, Wyoming. We have Skip Ewing, who is going to be presenting us with our national anthem here momentarily. We're going to be quiet when that happens. They're doing a little trivia right now on the song we're speaking of, written by Francis Scott Key.
That was I didn't know the part that he was a lawyer. He was actually working as an intermediary during the War of 1812 to get colonists released, or Americans released, from a British prison ship. And he negotiated what he thought was their release while he was on this British ship during the siege of the Battle of Baltimore. And they said, well, you're just going to have to wait here until this battle is over. And regardless of the negotiations we've had, we are bringing the entire British Armada upon Fort Baltimore. And by tomorrow morning, the war will be over. Now, these men that were defending Fort Baltimore, they worked so hard to keep that flag flying. Not just out of respect for the Stars and Stripes, but they all knew that if that flag were to fall, that their bid for independence would be over. And as the story and the song and the poem would recall, by the dawn's early light, that flagpole was still standing. And it was bent, and it was battered, and literally, it was propped up with the corpses of the men that had died fighting to defend it. And that's when Francis Scott Key wrote that poem, and then ultimately the song, The Star-Spangled Banner. And you're going to regale us with that song here momentarily, correct? All right. Suzanne, I am excited. How about you?
I am beyond excited. And folks, I think they have hit the road. So shortly we should be seeing.
All right, if you didn't hear that, Suzanne, who is on the announcer's booth with the Chamber of Commerce in Dubois, has said they are hitting the road, which means that our national anthem will be on momentarily with Skip Ewing, which is a pleasure. They were talking a lot about Skip's career, his famous Christmas carol song. He's got a lot of hits. I guess he wrote a song that Lainey Wilson is recording right now and talked about dreaming of potentially penning a song with her. So we're pretty excited to be here for this 4th of July, celebrating our Independence Day in one of the greatest locations. The Dubois, Wyoming 4th of July parade is like none other. So if you are watching this live stream on County 10's live stream or county10.com on YouTube, make sure you share this with your friends and your neighbors. Send a text out to a few people, because I'll tell you right now, the culmination of this parade with the National Museum of Military Vehicles is amazing. And we have a light breeze as well.
Hey, Shireen. It's great to be here with you. Shireen, the Adventure Queen, and Scott Fuller in Dubois, Wyoming for the 4th of July. This will be my very first, for all the time I spent in Wyoming, my very first Dubois 4th of July parade. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, it was nice. Suzanne was letting folks know who are here currently. Obviously, they're not going to be watching the live stream, but hey, they've got friends and neighbors that are in other areas.
Surprise, I didn't know that until a couple of days ago, that he'll be starting the event with the Star-Spangled Banner here momentarily. And yeah, we did get, at County 10, we got a lot of requests for video streaming this from Dubois, specifically because of the military showcase from the National Military Vehicle Museum at the end of the parade. So a lot to look forward to, and good turnout with great weather.
Yeah, it was. It's hard for folks to make it from Lander to Dubois, especially on an election year, which means that the parades are going to go a little bit longer with some extra political floats, which we'll have today in Dubois as well. But 68 degrees, sunshine. We're getting a breeze every once in a while, which actually feels good.
But folks, if you want to turn your heads, look down the highway, look what is coming down the road.
Looks like we got a parade almost underway. Might be enough time, maybe enough time to sneak into the rustic pine. And I see they're set up just behind us.
No, wait, why do I not have something right
I'm not wanting to miss Skip's Star Spangled Banner, but
it's all about timing. Yeah, I think Suzanne's job right now is to time everything up just right. Suzanne, big shout out to her and the rest of the Dubois Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, we're pretty excited to be here for 4th of July. Scott, this is your first time, but I don't expect this to be your last. You'll be wanting to come for years to come like I do, and it's just one of the best parades. It's really small town USA. This is a town of 911, and right now we probably have twice that here on the road in front of us.
Yeah, it's great for all the small towns in Wyoming. Lander obviously has their big day today with the 4th of July festivities all day, starting with the 10K in the morning or the 5K in the morning and then parade, and then it's just a lot of people, and this is more my speed personally. It's easier to get around. I love Dubois on a beautiful day, and we certainly have that today.
Yeah, we'll be starting our parade with our Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW, Ramar Brown, post 10056. That will be the start of the parade.
So we're waiting on the color guard to make their way down the block. Assume they will stop right in front of the parade stands, and we'll get a treat of a national anthem performance from Skip Ewing.
Parade should take about an hour and a half once we get going, so please stick with us and hang on. It'll be a lot of fun. We're thrilled to have you join us for this celebration of freedom and independence in beautiful Dubois, Wyoming. They're going to have some sweet treats and fireworks afterwards as well. If you're watching this, maybe you're tuning in Lander and you're like, oh, I just can't make it in time for the parade. Well, you could still make it for that ice cream social, all the fun as well. Scott, it kind of turns into a free-for-all block party here. So people stick around, have refreshments, the kids play, the ice cream social, very popular. They'll do that from 3 until 5 o'clock. And so maybe you do actually have time to make it up here. It's a beautiful afternoon.
Yeah, this is my favorite part about the 4th of July. Fireworks are great, but when you have a small town 4th of July with the parade and all the locals and the Grand Marshal and all the people who have served in our armed forces, and in the case of Dubois, the military museum display, and the local fire department and the local police, it's the most community thing on America's holiday that you can imagine. This is a great place to spend the 4th.
It really is fun, and if you were able to see some of the footage before when we kind of had some of the audience and some folks in their chairs, it's just like Lander. Folks set up their chairs the night before. They're not always in the same place they were because of the wind, but people line the streets here in Dubois just the same as Lander, and they set their chairs out, get their spots, and reserve that prime real estate for this parade. It's a good length parade too, so they start at Town Park in Dubois, but the real prime core of it is right here at the helm of the center of town. We have the Honey House and, of course, the Rustic Pine there. And a big shout out to our friends at Life Key. We're out front of Life Key and Provisions. Love Provisions. I've got a few things from there that I've needed for travels, one of which was a bath and body case for all of my hygiene products and whatnot. So you never know what you'll find in there. It's always worth a stop to stop into Provisions in Dubois. So thanks to some of our folks that have helped make this possible. Wyo Glass, 307 Fireworks. I got my fireworks from 307 Fireworks. Tons of fun. I got all the little tanks. I love those little army tanks.
Are you stocked up? Are
you
ready?
The thing is, though, is like, if anything's taught me, you have to light all the tanks off at one time so they're an actual army. So I got a bunch of tanks. So 307 Fireworks, they're awesome. They're right there by the Hampton Inn and Suites in Riverton. Sutherland's another great sponsor of helping making sure that we can provide this feed to folks here in Dubois and Lander as well. For folks who can't make it for the 4th of July, maybe they moved and departed and want to tune in. Maybe they just got busy or have to work today. All right, we're going to begin with our national anthem.
Skip Ewing with our national anthem.
What so proudly we at the twilight's last those broad stripes and bright stars through the pale pillars fight for the ramparts we watched were so and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Skip Ewing.
That was a treat. Hopefully that came through on the audio okay, but that sounded amazing in person.
Yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful voice Skip has. And yeah, it doesn't come across quite as it does. Greatest song ever written. Always gives me chills, puts me in a little tears too as well. So Skip, just a phenomenal way to start that. We have not really had a singer of his magnitude, I believe, in the last few years anyways that I remember.
And it's
starting
a very
this off.
difficult song to sing.
It is. The pressure is one of the hardest things, especially on the 4th of July.
Yeah, better him than me. You've got the whole town of Dubois watching you, but he made that look easy. He sounded beautiful.
All right, we're seeing the folks with our VFW Ramar Brown Post, or Rammer Brown Post 10056. They were there for the singing of our national anthem and providing just such a phenomenal backdrop and reminding us to remember those that have sacrificed for our freedom and some that have given the ultimate sacrifice. And so great to have the VFW start that off. It really is the best way to start off this celebration of freedom and community. Happy 4th of July. Let's remember and honor the brave men and women who fought for our independence. We continue our parade. This is Sell Now Property Services, and they've got their truck and trailer, and they look festive, and they say honoring our veterans. Sell Now Property Services on their flatbed. We have a cool car that's coming up. This is going to be our Grand Marshal. The Grand Marshal is always in a pretty cool ride or a unique way that they enter, and it's great to have Cynthia Boyhan with us. I am not a classic car expert, Scott, but if you happen to know what type of car she's in, go ahead and shout that out.
I was just going to say the same thing, Shireen. Unfortunately, it looks James Bondish to me, and that's the most I can help.
I have absolutely no idea. I just know it's a very cool car. Thank you so much to Cynthia, the Grand Marshal, for being here today and being in such a cool ride. How fun is that?
And Dubois Chamber of Commerce working for Dubois, Cal?
Yes, they are.
All right, the Dubois Chamber of Commerce celebrating Wyoming's heritage. Suzanne, who is on the flatbed as the MC and helping out MC this event in person, is a part of the chamber. She does a phenomenal job. And the Dubois Chamber of Commerce, they have a busy summer here with tourism too, so they're busy this time of year. Great to see them out, great to see the kids too.
Yeah, it's a summertime town. This is one of the hidden gems on the way to our national parks here in Wyoming that a lot of visitors fall in love with unexpectedly when they make a pit stop in Dubois.
Well, folks in Dubois know Range, your local internet provider. They have their truck and trailer throwing out some great candy too, and their logo here is Live Your West Life, Scott. I like that. Live your West life. The West is the best. Thank you so much to range.net for being in the Dubois parade. Pat Naveau, Twyla Blakeman, another antique car. I have no idea what type of car this is, but I think it's a Chevy. It is a Chevy. I got that right, Scott.
Yeah, that's about all I know, too.
It's blue.
I don't know who put us in charge of a 4th of July parade, because there's always classic cars.
All right, we talked about it being an election year. Pat, of course, Pat Naveau, mayor. Twyla Blakeman on that float as well, looking great. Obviously, they chose the right color with the blue antique car there. We talked about it being an election year. You'll see a few political floats throughout the Dubois parade. We do have our friends with Wyoming Rentals rolling through. Wyoming Rentals. They have Jeeps, side-by-sides, pedal cars on display here, and of course allowing the opportunity to showcase what they do and provide Dubois Wind River KOA along with them and Wyoming Rentals. Woo, got a little gust of wind there.
Holding down the fort as best we can.
You were good and smart to not put the tent up.
Yeah, that would have been a parade-ruining disaster. So
Tent killers are parades in Wyoming because it's full of wind. Nice to see the 4x4s out there with Wyoming Rentals. This is a great premier location, too, if you've got family visiting to get a rental from them and take a little ride around. Yeah, I hear Suzanne talking about just people waiting. If you've got to use the restroom or you're trying to turn off the YouTube channel for a moment while you chat on the phone or do something, do not miss the end of this parade. I believe the National Museum of Military Vehicles is bringing out a few more tanks this year than last year. I don't know how he's going to keep topping himself, Scott, but every year it seems to get added to or brings out cooler displays as well. So I'm not sure where the peak will be, but I'm expecting it to definitely amaze and inspire folks.
I'm looking forward to that. What a perfect day to showcase the uniqueness of Dubois with that world-class military vehicle museum just outside of town, and it's a great fit to put some of those vehicles in this parade. And yeah, we're all looking forward to that. We're all kind of, like you said, Shireen, anticipating what kind of military hardware will roll out from the museum.
Yeah, Scott's bringing back the camera here, kind of showing that display. We'll see folks from the Moose Willow Soap Company coming up, Fremont County Fair ambassadors, National Bighorn Sheep Center as well. We've got a lot coming up here.
Well, that's kind of appropriate, don't you think?
It is appropriate.
Whatever floats your boat.
All right, this is the wild, looks like Wild Willow Boutique there with a cute little moose in a bathtub. And that's also with the Moose Willow Soap Company if you're not familiar. So that might be something you want to look at for a stocking stuffer. We do have the Fremont County Fair ambassadors. Hopefully they do not blast us with any water.
Avoid the camera.
It's early on the water, Scott. Normally it's at the end, so.
It is.
You know?
I'll do my best here.
Yeah. Guard it with your life. Take off your shirt if you need to. I'm just kidding.
I think we're not. I want people to stay at the parade.
That's it says, come show your greatest of all talent. That's cool. The Fremont County Fair. And whoever floats your goat. That's hilarious.
Creative tagline so far.
I like it, yeah. They've got some water and they're making it exciting for the kids. A little windy right now, but when the winds die down, it's right about 70 degrees, 68. And so you definitely appreciate a little bit of a breeze. The next float that's coming through is the National Bighorn Sheep Center. They do some fantastic work. They're located here in Dubois, if you didn't realize that. Obviously, as they're preserving and continuing to conserve bighorn sheep and bringing that the displays they have at the Sheep Center here in Dubois, as well as that education to schools. As you see here, they have a lot of kids out. It's one of their big pushes, too, is kind of awareness and education. They do just a phenomenal job. So big shout out to the National Bighorn Sheep Center.
It's the busiest float we've seen so far.
Yeah, they have a lot of fun. Ooh, it sounds like we've got one of the fire trucks revving up there too. No, we have the Opportunity Shop, which is right there. That's that little, the one you're seeing on the screen right now. That's the Opportunity Shop. They are all decked out. I would like to hot rod that. I'm hoping she just hits the gas, not into the crowd, of course, but as she's going away here. But she's making it so every kid, you know what I like about this, Scott, is she's going close to the kids so they don't have to run out in the street.
Yeah.
She's making it super easy for the children. The parents really appreciate that. It's safer for the kids too as well. So shout out to the Opportunity Shop rolling right in and serving candy. If she's not careful though, they might scoop it out of the back of that truck themselves here in a moment.
Yeah, that's the problem. But yeah, good idea for a golf cart in a parade. It's a lot more nimble than your typical floats.
Yeah, and this next one is going to be a good procession here. The CM Ranch, they'll have a flatbed, their wagon, fire truck, and 9 horses as well. And so this CM Ranch one will go for just a little bit. You see their vintage fire truck that says CM Ranch on it, displayed very well, doing a great job for the 4th of July as we're celebrating our independence here in Dubois. The CM Ranch continues with something that's a part of Wyoming heritage, and that is farming and ranching with that green John Deere tractor with a cool 4th of July hat. Scott, you were wearing one of those earlier.
I was. You brought me one.
I
Thank
did.
you for that.
You look
Thank
great.
you for documenting that with a photo as
Yes,
well.
you'll see that on 97.5 The Brand's Facebook page, hopefully County 10 as well. Again, the CM Ranch had that truck and then the trailer following it, towing a wagon. And that's a vintage wagon, by the way. They'll have another vintage vehicle as well that comes through. They're also squirting off some water. They have a dog up there. I think that's the first pooch we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll have a procession of some horses here, and we'll actually have quite a few horses that will come together. One thing about the horses is it's nice to pack them together, Scott, during the parade, because then they don't get scared and spooked. They kind of try to put them in a place that they're not going to have a lot of noise and things of that nature either. So it's nice to see the kids out here for CM Ranch.
18 horses? No more than that.
And we have our Fremont County Fair royalty. And you can tell that what they look like because they look like royalty, Scott.
They are all decked out.
So I know we have some more folks with the Jeremy Slack State Farm and Samuelson painting. I want to shout out to Ramsden, Raven, Easton, Maddie, Jeremy, and Brady are all riding. And they're riding again for State Farm and Samuelson Printing. There's a Ramsden on the back. He's in the red, and I think Raven is up there. And then we got Brady and Jeremy as well riding with them. So a good procession of horses there with the CM Ranch. We had the Fair Royalty, and then Jeremy Slack, State Farm, and Samuelson Printing there with a cool group of horses as well. Really, Scott, I love the military tanks too, but another one of my favorite parts is the horses with the 4th of July parades. Oh, this is your cue. If you want a drink or refreshment, you're going to want to run up to that bar. That is an actual live bar. They're slinging drinks on, Scott, from the Rustic Pine.
Are they taking cash or card or Venmo or what's up?
I think it's just how you got to wear your patriotic outfit. You should get one for
okay.
free,
All right.
I would assume. But they do have an old school kind of bar that they've displayed on the back there. They've got their nice truck. They also are rocking a mount in there, a great mount with the Rustic Pine. We love seeing the folks with the Rustic Pine, and going in there and having a refreshment afterwards is always a fun time, or just seeing the crew outside. So the Rustic Pine with their vintage bar, that was cool.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
We also have, I think they have some horses too, just for the Rustic Pine, some pack horses. And then Wyoming Mercantile USA will be following with the horse and wagon. But these vintage horses you just saw, they're all a part of the Rustic Pine. They kind of went in this old school theme, Scott, throwing the roots back to Dubois with the old bar, the old saloon. They have the outfits for all of the outfits for the vintage style as well. So they definitely went all out there. This is Wyoming Mercantile USA, I believe, there with their horse and wagon. This is Dubois, Wyoming for the 4th of July, one of the best places to be. And if you can't be here, you're at the second best place, and that's watching it on County 10's YouTube channel or county10.com. This next group is Soar Camp at Eagle View Ranch. They'll have their horse riders and it looks like a dog as well, their farm dog there. I always like the dogs that are so well behaved and well trained too. They're just to ride right next to the horses. And
I do too. Were mine here, it would not be going so well.
now there is the governor. Is that Governor Gordon? Oh my, is that Governor Gordon? Am I blind? I can't see correctly.
Let's see here.
There is Mark Gordon, yes, and Jenny Gordon. Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Gordon making the time here with his beautiful wife and their crew. Oh my goodness, that is, we didn't know for sure. Look at that horse-drawn carriage. Those are absolutely beautiful. Those are Percherons, by the way. The Percherons are gorgeous. Governor Gordon here with a cool display too, representing with a vintage trailer a wagon being pulled by the Percherons. That was cool.
That was a bit of a surprise. That was not disclosed to us until today in the parade lineup, and it wasn't specific. They did say governor, and we assume that's the governor of Wyoming, but we weren't entirely sure
Right.
until we saw
You never
Governor
know.
Gordon.
All right, that was very cool. Well done to Governor Gordon's camp there for putting that together. Our next group is kind of together. This will be Mountain Grace Church out here for the Dubois Parade. I love seeing the folks that put on the floats and are a part of the parades. It really shows their community spirit. It's not just about promoting their business. They're coming out, spending money, handing out candy, trying to make it fun for the whole family too. So Mountain Grace Church having a nice display there. A little breezy here in Dubois, but that's okay. I'll take it. Upper 60s right now currently, and when it's not breezy, we have plenty of sunshine. Last year it was a tad on the cool side, and so I think we're all welcoming the light breeze too, because if it gets too warm, that can make it a little uncomfortable, but there's always a nice cool down for 4th of July.
No, it's absolutely perfect, and you got sunshine, some breeze to cool you off, and some clouds here and there too. Couldn't ask for a better day for a 4th of July parade.
All right, and then this says Cowboy Church. They even have breakfast and then music and message. Very neat. Good to be here in for the 4th of July in Dubois. You're watching the 4th of July parade live on County 10's YouTube channel and county10.com. These are the folks with the Warm Valley Lodge Assisted Living. They're fantastic. We've worked with them with County 10. They're good people.
Singing some John Denver from the float.
Nice job. I won't sing along because I'm a terrible singer. Warm Valley Lodge also with their van too. They're just a good group of people. Remember that assisted living facility is located right here in beautiful Dubois. We will have some more political floats. We talked about that too, so expect those to be coming up here. The ending of this parade is very cool. Of course, we have our National Museum of Military Vehicles, but also we have the fire crew that really wraps up stuff and allows the kids to have an extra cool off. This is Pepper Ottman. She's running for re-election, House District 34. Pepper is here representing for the Dubois Parade. Again, the fun doesn't just end here with the parade in Dubois too. It's kind of one of these places where if you were thinking of coming and staying the night, you could have fun all afternoon. Ice cream social, they have tons of fun, live music. They also have the fireworks display as well. Larry Allen is running for Fremont County Commissioner, District 2. One of our political floats here for 4th of July Parade 2024. This is Mr. Salazar's vehicle. He chose a great one. I like it. I love it. Re-elect Tim. That's Tim Salazar, State Senate. I've had the pleasure of conversing with Tim a couple of times. He's a great guy, and like I said, he chose a really cool vehicle for the parade. Now, I don't know if it's as cool as this next one, though. This is pretty cool. This has a little tractor and a little trailer bed, and it's the Mount Calvary Lutheran Church. And they are just scooting along. I want to know what kind of engine that thing has in there.
I was wondering the same thing, and the vintage of it. It looks very well used. It looks like it's accomplished a lot on the ranch.
Yep, and they've got their little procession there again with the Mount Calvary Lutheran Church. Our next group will be the Ace Hardware. They're super popular here, Scott, in town. They're one of the locations and places a lot of folks and homeowners are always constantly going to here in town, and they're just a major part of the community here, the owners of Ace. And so good to see their float out here, and they'll be, I imagine they'll have something cool on the back there.
I think I saw this one earlier. They somehow kept what looked like a full-size Weber grill on the back of that thing.
Nice. Well, I think they do sell those there, so that's good promotion on their part. I see a Traeger tent on the top that they're using on the top of
so it
the
might
flatbed.
be a Traeger grill. I don't want to get the brand wrong. But
They probably sell both, so I think. But again, you'll see Ace Mountain Hardware here. They've got some cool stuff on display with their saw handle. They've got their blow-up Traeger, which is nice. They even got a fan on there to keep themselves cool. It looked like they were grilling up something, though, on the grill. I'm not sure if that may have been happening a little bit earlier on or if we missed it, but...
That's a good idea. You have to wait in that parade line for a long time. You might get hungry.
Yeah, really.
Fire up some burgers.
If I was going to do a float, that's what I would do. All right, we have another political float. This is a 4x4, vote conservative. Reg Phillips is what it says, and he's running House District 34. You can kind of hear that, I'm sure. That's Dubois Search and Rescue, always doing phenomenal work. And I imagine, Scott, this time of year, search and rescues, especially in the state of Wyoming with a lot of outdoor rec, are extra busy, and so we do appreciate them taking the time to be a part of this parade.
Yeah, super important. All the visitors we get and all the locals that sometimes need the assistance, but the result is the best search and rescue agencies in the whole country, Lander, Dubois among them.
We are excited to have you here at the 4th of July parade in beautiful Dubois, Wyoming, a town that is only a population of 911 on a regular day. But for 4th of July, that triples or doubles, if not triples, with how many people come for the parade and enjoy. So glad to be here, glad to have you, and make sure you let your friends know that every year we broadcast Lander and Dubois parades. And if you can't make one of them, the second best seat in the house is right here with County 10. I'm Shireen, the Adventure Queen. Scott Fuller is joining me. We have more here with our Dubois Search and Rescue and the Friends of Dubois Badlands as well. Yeah, the Search and Rescue, they have a big procession here, so and they've got some smoke blowing out. That's pretty cool. I want one of those smoke sticks. That's like the ultimate smoke bomb.
Showcasing all the, I call them toys, but they'd call them tools that they use in search and rescue.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize. Okay, yeah, that's a tool. Dubois Search and Rescue putting on a great show there, and again, just doing phenomenal work during their busy season too right now, although they really don't ever slow down since we are kind of a recreation state, 365, 24/7. It's just a busy group to be in, but they're a great crew.
Oh, this vintage search and rescue truck here.
Pulling the snowmobiles.
That's run a lot of missions.
Yeah, we just talked about 365, 24/7. You're seeing right there with the snowmobiles. That's part of their winter crew for when they need to be of use during the winter months.
Generally all volunteer as well.
Mm-hmm. This is Friends of Dubois Badlands. Friends of Dubois Badlands. They've got some water guns there as well. Those ladies are sure enjoying squirting those kids. I don't know who's having more fun, them or the kids.
Well, you get that one day where you get to squirt all those kids. You got to take advantage of it.
I think we'll have kind of a cool ride coming up here next for our 4th of July parade in Dubois. This will be Gary Spence method. Beautiful Superwoman, although I'm half blind, but I think that's Superwoman.
I believe so. Or some Dubois variation of Superwoman.
Gary Spence, I believe that's who entered there. You know, Scott, too, by the way, with the cool small town parade, sometimes we'll just randomly have community members. They're not running for anything or doing anything. They just want to show off their cars or whatever. And so that looked like a really cool Jeep there, though.
Yeah.
This must be with Gary Spins, too, as well. They've got the golf carts. Whoa, look at that cool Can-Am.
We got some couple coming down the road now.
Now, sometimes they kind of mold together, but this should be Marilyn Smith now with the side-by-side. Marilyn Smith, Sherry Smith as well. They'll have some side-by-sides that are decked out with their 4th of July decor. So this Marilyn Smith and Sherry Smith is now another cool side-by-side. I imagine all these people with the side-by-sides and the crews ride around here together.
Can go just about anywhere, even around here.
Yep. Sherry Smith there handing out some candy to an adorable little girl with her cowboy hat.
Cowgirl, yeah.
Enjoying that. Windhaven RV Resort. If you're thinking about coming up, maybe can't find a hotel or accommodations, think about maybe going to Windhaven RV Resort and bringing up the camper or the motorhome.
It's always good to know because many of us have out-of-town friends who seem to only pay attention to us and visit us during Yellowstone and Teton season. But it's nice to have local places to point them to and get the most out of their Wyoming adventure.
Ooh, Windhaven RV Resort is throwing out beads. That's always fun.
This group of kids over here,
they want the beads, so
they've got it figured it out. This is their corner. They have all the candy and everything that's come from every float so far.
Well, Windhaven RV Resort just rolled by, and they're continuing with their 4x4, their off-road vehicles there. We have some kids coming up. I want to imagine this is with Nana's Bowling and Bakery.
Now, I know you love your RAV, Shireen, but your next vehicle needs to be this bright pink truck that's rolling in from Nana's, I believe.
I believe this has to be Nana's Bowling and Bakery, just because of all the display of the cool pizzas and the tacos and the hot dog and the bacon. Oh, and there's a Pac-Man outfit. Yeah, if you haven't been to Nana's Bowling and Bakery with Never Sweat Photography, they're here on display for the 4th of July parade, but they just provide a really fun day for the kids. There's not a lot to do in Dubois if you live here and you have kids, and so it's been really welcomed for the locals, but really welcomed too by folks that are driving to Jackson, to Yellowstone. This is the I-80 corridor, and so having that as well for folks to stop with their families has been really welcome too. So they also have, Scott, if you want to try your hand afterwards, we'll go to the Rustic Pine, and they have the bowl. We'll put it on slow to start. Increase. If you pay the guy $5, sometimes he'll increase the speed.
Yeah, see, now I'm scared. You have the local knowledge.
I believe Joel Highsmith is next here after Nana's Bowling and Bakery. They'll have some side-by-sides there. I
don't know if this is literally a Tiger tank or not, but we do have some military vehicles.
Yes, it's kind of funny because Joel Highsmith is stopping right there, and this tank is about to go right by and wonder, hey, you going to move? Because they have a bigger rig. So Joel Highsmith, one of our political floats, is making way for the National Museum of Military Vehicles. Ladies and gentlemen, Dubois, Wyoming is home of the National Museum of Military Vehicles. And as you see Dagwood coming through, and I wish, Scott, last year I knew some of the names, and some of them are on there. I'm drawing a little bit of a blank, but I won't talk too much during this. I want you to kind of absorb it and enjoy watching the procession of these military vehicles. We will have 30 different vehicles between tanks and different miscellaneous vehicles here. Again, the National Museum of Military Vehicles bringing out, and every year somehow seems to stop themselves. Here's the Master of Darkness, as you see, adorned with a couple of gun mounts on the top.
A troop transport there. U.S. Army troop transport.
The cool thing about going to the museum is you get to find out more about all of these vehicles. Right now, you're just seeing them really briefly. It's very cool, very patriotic, but urge you to check out the museum itself.
Yeah, it's only a small sample of a fair comparison of a Smithsonian level museum that we have right here in Dubois.
How cool is this? There's Christina that just went by. This is harm's way. You don't want to be in harm's way, Scott.
Nope.
Yeah, they're going all.
Nope. Lady with the tank has the right of way.
Yes, yes, always. If you're just tuning in, we are just beginning the procession from the National Museum of Military Vehicles. The crew there putting on already what is a fantastic show, and it really is the reason I love being here. Dubois is just as special anyways, but just having the museum here, having this display, nobody else, Scott, in the state, nobody else gets this. And as a matter of fact, I went to the Ferris Bueller Memorial Weekend Parade, and they didn't have a procession like this.
No, it's very unique to Dubois, and it's just the proximity of that world-class military vehicle museum. And you kind of, I would imagine, take it for granted year after year, but this is not a lot of parades, if any, in the country have anything like this for the 4th of July.
An Army med vehicle there. Had a Navy and Army vehicle before then. I think often vehicles are associated with the Army, but it is cool to see some of the Navy vehicles that they use too as well. That one, by the way, had the stormtroopers on there.
Yeah,
that was cool.
I just now saw that, yeah. The lightsabers.
I like that. Cool. Well, you'll notice sometimes each of the tanks or the groups will have kind of their own special theme. Those things don't seem to turn on a dime.
No, they don't. Very little can stop them, but yeah, turning on a dime is probably more difficult. It's amazing to see them in action. If you're a fan of history at all, you rarely get to see a track tank rolling down the street.
And again, if you go to the museum, you're going to find out some of the history of Harm's Way and Christina and other big tanks that you'll see here today. That is a Marine vehicle, by the way, that just passed from the U.S. Marines. Like I said, you'll find vehicles from all of our armed forces here with the National Museum of Military Vehicles. It's a great display. The U.S. Army, they have a 1957 vehicle there, the Chevy that went by. This tank looks absolutely terrifying. Oh, it's Attaboy. That's a famous tank. A lot of people talk about Attaboy. It really is a great 4th of July, folks. So glad to be here in Dubois. We're just right at 70 degrees. The sun is shining, but we have a light breeze here, which makes it absolutely perfect. We're located, up in the mountains as we start right before Togety Pass, too. So you'll find it being about 5 degrees cooler than, Lander or Riverton. And so it makes it a little nice, unless like last year when it was cool everywhere, it's extra cool here, which you have to be prepared for. You never know. Most of the time, there's been a lot of 4th of Julys where we've had storms or rain, so you always have to be prepared in Wyoming.
Absolutely perfect day here, though. A little bit of a breeze, as you can hear on the microphones coming through the stream, but absolutely nothing wrong with this day, and Dubois' perfect 4th of July weather.
It's good to cherish our freedom and enjoy this special day together, and there really is nothing more patriotic to me than seeing some folks with the National Museum of Military Vehicles. Also love seeing our veterans, our current servicemen and women, and this parade has all of that and more. It's small town USA, but it really does pack a punch. It packs a patriotic punch when it comes to some of the best 4th of July parades that I've ever seen, and it really is due to this community and their support of the museum, their support of agriculture and ranching and horses and all of that and more. Scott, everybody's taking a selfie, so I think I want to take one. Oh, that light pole's right in the way. Dang it.
We have a photo op chance.
I have a terrible shot. Everybody's out here getting selfies with these tanks. Again, that's a reason why it's so cool. If you have kids, Scott, which you do, having your kids here is a really cool experience.
Yeah, this is I love Dubois anyway, but it really comes to life in the summer, and I mean, it's got to be the most fun holiday outside in Dubois. It's everything that a small town 4th of July parade is, but also these unique aspects like the Wyoming outdoor lifestyle, and obviously like the military museum. Very rare to see a display like this, and all these selfies I think are causing a bit of a traffic jam as everyone wants to commemorate the moment.
I think that's Deep Strike. That's Deep Strike, and on their tank it says Veterans Talking to Veterans. Free weekly coaching groups. It sounds like a great service. It sounds like something to look into if you are a veteran. Again, that's Veterans Talking to Veterans, and they are on Deep Strike. All right, I see the fire trucks down there, Scott. If you don't know the drill, if you haven't watched this YouTube stream before, the drill is at the end when that water starts spraying, we'll have to cut the stream depending on how close we are or what proximity we are to the actual fire trucks. But right now, Scott, what I'm seeing down the line here is we're not going to be getting away from it.
Yeah, they have pretty good range from what we can see all the way at the end of the parade, so we may have to, about a half a block down, scramble and protect some of our very expensive electronic equipment, but that is the end of the parade.
I hope you're not mad that I forgot the garbage bag.
Well, I will protect what we have with what I can.
I have my jacket here. I have a plastic bag. We'll use the plastic bag.
We may have to have people jump on equipment.
That's what we did 3 years ago. We weren't quite ready, but we're still here with our National Museum of Military Vehicles. It's kind of cool to see them. I like this, Scott. I know we kind of have a little bit of a lull right here as we're pushing through some vehicles, but I like being able to actually see the tanks. They do, stop towards the end here, so it's a great place to be able to look at them up close instead of them just cruising on by. Sometimes parades go too quickly where you can't really capture what their float is or what they're about.
Did not count the tanks, but I think we've had 6 roll by our spot, and there are 2 more still to come. Not to mention all the medical and troop transports and all the other vehicles. I didn't get a count, but we've had 15 or so roll by. It's probably 20 or more in the parade this year.
Yeah, I think they counted. They totaled 30 that they were entering this year, which I think is a few more than last year. We do have a few more after the National Museum of Military Vehicles too, so please make sure you stick through this stream with us because we do still have a couple of really great groups. One of them is the Fish Hatchery.
Yep.
Love them. Really want to show
you and I both.
support for them. Yeah, they do some fantastic work and keep our streams and rivers stocked, and science and education as well with them. So it's good to be here again. The fun doesn't stop with this parade here in Dubois, though. They have an ice cream social, they have live music, they have the fireworks as well. Last night I was in Pavilion, Wyoming. They had some great fireworks on display too. They're a very small town. They're even smaller than Dubois, about a third of the size, and they put on a fantastic show too. So it's cool kind of finding these small town USA unique 4th of July celebrations. I love Lander, but it's really well known. I think Dubois is coming up in popularity every single year, though. So
I'm 100% with you. Lander's one of my favorite towns in the state, but this is a crazy day in Lander, and unless you plan ahead, towns like Pavilion and Dubois is where you want to be. And the bonus for anyone that came up and saw this in person, or for those of you watching on the YouTube stream, you get to see a very unique parade in the middle of Wyoming on a beautiful day.
We've got about 10, 15 minutes left of this parade, maybe even less once we get towards the fire trucks. By the look of their sprays this year, they are a lot stronger than they were last year.
We're in range.
And so we're fully in range, and we're not protected by one of the buildings. So we'll be ending the parade right before when we see the fire trucks here. So again, I just want to say thanks to the folks that are watching this stream, encouraging you to support communities like Dubois for the 4th of July. I know you can't always make it here. It's tough to go from Lander to Dubois for those that live in the area. For those of you that are out of state or you're watching because you couldn't make it today, that's understandable. But you're supporting by watching this stream. So make sure you keep that in mind every year for these events. That County 10 will be on hand to help make sure that you have a piece of this amazing 4th of July parade that I adore. We're still with our National Museum of Military Vehicles, but we have a few more floats as well, and then the fire crews come out and they just soak the kids. I know that's a big draw in Lander too, and the kids here just love it as well. So some kids come from Lander to this, and I already saw a few. They were soaked.
Yep.
It's impressive how quickly people make it from,
Well, you did that last year, right?
Two years ago,
Lander
yeah.
And then Dubois, which is a tight squeeze with traffic. But, yeah, it's we ended up with perfect weather. I heard a lot about the almost downright cold 4th of July parade last year.
Yeah.
Sun's out today. Beautiful and very well attended here in Dubois. It's a great start or continuation of your 4th of July.
You know, they have square dancing on Tuesday nights here in
Have
town.
you ever square danced?
I did in school. I think we had to do.
I did too.
Like to Little Bitty by Alan Jackson.
Over and over.
Over and over again. So I remember that in school, but I've never actually square danced. But I used to have to work at a country bar for the radio station I worked for. And I'd be there and I'd be broadcasting or whatever, and all of a sudden a song would come on and everybody would hit the floor and they would all be identical and match and know every step, and I was like, that's so impressive. So I would like to try. So I think I'll be coming back here for a Tuesday night square dancing session at the Rustic Pine. Sounds like a good summer fun night. They also have the Dubois Rodeo on Friday nights. It's kind of a one-of-a-kind rodeo too. A lot of folks enjoy coming up to Dubois just for that. The one I particularly like is the one tomorrow night. It's extra special because of the 4th of July.
Yeah, a lot of people in town, I would imagine. You saw the population of Fremont County just swell driving around, and it's I can't imagine a better way to spend the 4th of July or time your vacation from out of town to enjoy the 4th in Wyoming. Tried to go to one of my favorite fishing holes yesterday, and it wasn't so secret yesterday because of all the people in from out of town, but we love our visitors too.
Yep.
And we love to show off our hidden gem here in Fremont County.
I'll take this time to thank a few sponsors. Spare Me Car Keys, if you need a car key or remote. Flying Phoenix Fireworks. First Interstate, Hampton Inn and Suites, and YDOT, some of the great sponsors. But a big shout out to LifeKey for helping us out and allowing us to set up shop in front of them, use their Wi-Fi as well, so we could provide this amazing stream for you.
Yes,
and
hopefully our stream has been all right. Internet here in Dubois is very difficult, but the only way we were able to stream this at all is through a LifeKey. So come visit them here at the Bend right here in downtown Dubois.
Yeah, and go buy provisions if you need some provisions. This has been a great day here, 4th of July in Dubois, Wyoming. Got a light breeze, more fun to come. That ice cream social is kicking off. We're getting through the tanks here. I see they had maybe a little bit of a delay at the front getting one of the tanks around, and they're able to get that maneuvered. And like I said, those things do not move on a dime. So we have our National Museum of Military Vehicles that will continue. I think we have about 6 vehicles or 7 left there. And then we have a few more, and then our fire trucks will continue on their journey to soak every child here in Dubois. All right, we got some more tanks out there. The Veterans Talking to Veterans is still hanging out.
Just off your left.
This is a cool vehicle, has an interesting design.
See if we can catch up with it on the camera here.
Yeah.
Well,
It's kind of around the corner. There it is, yeah. These folks on this tank are getting a video. It's probably a Rocky video up there. We're just about through our National Museum of Military Vehicles procession here, which makes this 4th of July parade very unique, and they always outdo themselves. Bring more tanks out, cool costumes, awesome photo opportunities, and great organizations. We are proud to stream this for you thanks to County 10 and bringing this parade to those that just can't make it here to Dubois today. We wish you were here with us in person, but again, this is the second best seat in the house if you can't be here for the first best seat. I don't like when that thing is pointed right at me. That was scary.
It does have a plug in it.
It does, but still, I'm just telling you the intimidation factor that these vehicles hold.
You just got a little preview of what it's like to be on the wrong side.
Right, exactly. All right, it looks like C. Riley's will be coming in after our National Museum of Military Vehicles. We'll see if they can get around this tank. I'm not sure if this tank is
I don't know
waiting,
if this was the holdup, but yeah, we've created a passing lane.
C. Riley's is going by there with their truck and trailer and a great display of the American flag.
Now, I wonder if they leave it, they're going to reopen the road, but my initial thought was if they leave it for people to explore, but this is the only thoroughfare through Dubois, so probably got to reopen the road.
Well, I don't know all the ins and outs, but I do know it's difficult to bring those tanks on the road for a long period of time, so I'm assuming they'll get those back going. We have a couple of them that are sitting right now, but we have our Lions Club of Fremont County, the Riverton Lions Foundation with their cool Cloud Kisser balloons. Oh, there's the Dubois hatchery. There's our fish. They have cool fish promoting.
Have you ever toured that tree?
I have been up there one time. Yeah, I haven't done like an in-depth tour, but they do a lot of great education from the Dubois hatchery with Wyoming Game and Fish. And this group is Teton Valley Ranch Camp, and our Wyoming State Society of the Sons of the American Revolution are at the start. The Sons of the American Revolution, followed by Teton Valley Ranch Camp. They're kind of all together.
They're all descended in some way, proven to be descended by the founding fathers.
This is going to be our friends at Big Wind River Float Trips. If you are looking for a scenic float trip, whitewater float trip, maybe a little fly fishing, then make sure you go contact my friend Evo and the crew at Big Wind River Float Trips, and they'll take good care of you. Their main location here in Dubois is right before you get into town if you're coming from Lander or the Riverton direction. Looks like Reed Rasner, U.S. Senate, another political float. A few political floats. Oh, this guy looking like Sam Adams or...
Yeah.
That's great.
Full revolutionary garb, and he's coming your way.
I know, I'm waving at him. I was hoping he would get on the camera. How cool is that? This is one of the greatest displays. Seeing folks like that just dressed up randomly. Here's the fun with Peak Excavation. They have their mini excavator and they've got their big dump truck as well. They're going to have a couple more vehicles, but Peak Excavation obviously providing a lot of excavating construction type of jobs and work.
I think we have one more after this before the fire trucks.
Yep. The kids love the dump truck there, that big yellow dump truck. That is cool.
That's going to be, the 20 tanks that roll by are going to be forgotten by the 4-year-olds in the crowd quicker than the dump truck.
That is a really cool display. Thank you, Peak Excavation. I think that's neat to have that brought out here today. I think we have Smokey the Bear, which will be right before the fire crews. We also have Elizabeth Phillip. That'll be for Senate District 26 with a cool old chuck wagon, covered wagon style, pulled by a truck. with what is, I think, a cool display of the Meadowlark in the back of that truck for Elizabeth Phillip, Senate District 26. And then we have our great crew, Smokey the Bear, making sure that you can prevent forest fires. Thanks, folks. Our fire trucks are coming. We want to get a little out of the way before the water starts to blast here. But we thank you so much for watching the Dubois, Wyoming 4th of July parade. I'm Shireen, the Adventure Queen. Scott Fuller, we're out of here so we don't get wet, all right?
Thank you, Shireen.